They thought she was just another single mom sitting quietly at the park, but when the cops circled with suspicion in their eyes, they had no idea the woman they were about to intimidate was trained to dismantle criminal networks, outthink terrorists, and expose corruption at the highest levels of law enforcement. Because she was one of the FBI's best agents, and that day, their prejudice triggered a storm they would never see coming. Subscribe now for more shocking, real-life inspired stories that flip power on its head. At the park on a warm Saturday afternoon, sunlight spilling across the swings and slides where children laughed without care, a single black mother named Jordan Cole sat with her daughter Amara, watching the girl's curls bounce as she soared on the swing. The kind of moment that for Jordan meant peace in a world that had demanded so much of her strength. But peace never seemed to last long for her. Not in a country where her skin was a weapon in the eyes of others, and that truth hit her again when two police cruisers rolled slowly into the lot, tires crunching on gravel, officers inside eyeing her like she didn't belong. Like a mother on a bench supervising her child's play was somehow an act of defiance. The way their radio chatter quieted when they spotted her. The way their hands lingered on their holsters though no crime had occurred. Their suspicion as loud as sirens. And Jordan felt her daughter's laughter slice through the tension. A reminder of what she had to protect. Yet Jordan knew something these men did not. That beneath her jeans and t-shirt sat credentials that outranked every badge in that park. That behind her calm eyes was training to dismantle covert networks, survive ambushes, and manipulate interrogations. Because Jordan was no ordinary mother but a special agent with the FBI Counterintelligence Division, undercover even on her off days. And these men were about to make the gravest mistake of their careers, driven not by crime but by prejudice, the type of prejudice Jordan had endured since childhood, when she was stopped outside convenience stores, followed in malls, doubted by teachers who mistook brilliance for arrogance, and later, when she entered law enforcement herself, underestimated by colleagues until she closed cases that others failed, proving herself 10 times over, but still having to carry the burden of proving, always proving. And here she was again, only now the stakes were higher, because these men approached in uniforms, power humming on their belts, their arrogance sharpened by authority, stepping from their cruisers with the type of swagger that came not from confidence but from unchecked fear, and Jordan's instincts whispered that they weren't here to protect, they were here to escalate, to flex, to corner. And she straightened her back, resting one hand on her daughter's swing chain, her other subtly touching her phone as the taller officer barked, "Ma'am, we've had a report of suspicious behavior," his voice crisp, rehearsed, and false, because Jordan had been at that park for less than 20 minutes, sipping bottled water, texting a colleague about an upcoming briefing on a domestic terror cell, and there was no suspicious behavior, beyond her presence, beyond her blackness, and she knew it, they knew it. And still the script was unfolding, the second officer circling behind as if she were a suspect ready to bolt, his hand twitching near his taser, eyes darting between Jordan and little Amara, who was still giggling mid-swing, oblivious to the storm tightening around them, and Jordan breathed slow, calling on her training, cataloging the office's movements, their positioning, the crowd nearby, the body cams blinking red on their vests, already calculating how this could play on video versus reality. How narratives would be spun if she stayed silent versus if she revealed who she was. But then the officer demanded ID in a tone that wasn't request but command, and Jordan, calm yet razor sharp, asked why, asked what crime had been committed, and the tension thickened, parents pulling their children from slides, whispers rising, phones lifted to record, the spectacle of a black mother policed for existing. But Jordan was no ordinary mother, and when the taller cop reached for her arm, ignoring her voice, she moved with precision, standing, locking his wrist in a compliance hold so swift it startled even him. Her tone low but firm as she leaned in, whispering words he didn't expect. "Special Agent Jordan Cole, FBI. Release your grip or you'll regret it." And the blood drained from his face, his partner freezing mid-step, unsure whether to escalate or retreat. But Jordan wasn't bluffing. She reached into her bag, produced her credentials, gold badge glinting in the sunlight. The kind of badge that outranked city cops by miles, and the crowd gasped, murmurs rippling, cameras zooming, children asking parents what FBI meant, and the officers stumbled back, their postures collapsing under the weight of exposure. But Jordan wasn't done, because this wasn't just about her or the insult of being profiled, it was about accountability, and she knew leverage when she had it, knew that every lens recording was another nail in the coffin of false reports, Another spotlight on systemic rot, so she ordered them to radio their supervisor, right there in the open, in front of families and phones, her voice steady as Amara ran into her arms, confused but comforted, and the officers obeyed, fumbling on their radios, stammering codes, their authority unraveling, and when the lieutenant arrived, red-faced and sweating, trying to smooth things over, Jordan presented not only her badge but also a warning. If this is how your department defines suspicious mothers with children at a park, then I'll personally make sure the Department of Justice hears about it. And her words cut like glass, the lieutenant scrambling apologies, but Jordan knew apologies were empty without consequences, and what they didn't realize was that she already had a history with internal affairs, had been investigating misconduct in police departments across the state for over a year, compiling files, names, incidents, and these officers had just handed her a case wrapped in arrogance, complete with witnesses and footage, and as she walked away holding Amara's hand, the officers shrinking behind her, Jordan's mind raced ahead, connecting dots, realizing this wasn't random, because her phone buzzed with a secure alert, a message from headquarters indicating her cover may have been compromised, and suddenly the suspicion that brought those cops to her wasn't just prejudice, it might have been orchestrated, planted, a way to rattle her, to expose her, and the twist hit harder than the confrontation itself. Someone inside law enforcement had tipped them off about her, someone who knew she was FBI, someone who wanted her rattled, maybe silenced, and the chase was only beginning, because Jordan was now hunting something bigger than bias. She was hunting betrayal inside the badge, the kind that didn't just threaten her safety but her daughter's future, and she vowed as she buckled Amara into the car seat, eyes scanning the rearview for tails, that whoever thought they could use her identity against her had no idea the storm they'd awakened, because Jordan Cole was not just a mother in a park, not just an FBI agent. She was a force trained to dismantle corruption, and this city was about to learn what happens when the hunted decides to hunt back.